First 11 chapters shows us the relationship between Adam and Eve, Noah, then Abraham, and really the rest of the people in the Bible. And the literary framework reveals that salvation history is shaped by this spiritual conflict between the godly and the ungodly, right? And that righteousness or wickedness travels down through family lines, but then that God vindicates his family and judges those who corrupt his kids. All right, and so how does Genesis 1 through 11 show us all this? This is a sweet little chart. I think you have it in your book all filled out already, but right. So from Adam to Noah, there are 10 generations. The wicked of the world trace their lineage back to Cain. At the end of 10 generations, God sends judgment on the world in the form of the flood. Once the flood recedes, 4 men remain: Noah, his 3 sons, Shem, Japheth, and Ham. Of those 3, Shem receives the blessing of the firstborn. Right? And then just as there were 10 generations from Adam to Noah, there's 10 generations from Noah to Terah. The wicked of the world trace their lineage back to Ham through his son Canaan. At the end of the 10 generation, God sent his judgment at the Tower of Babel. And at the time of the judgment of Babel, Noah's descendant Terah has 3 sons, Abram, Nahor, and Haran. And Abram receives the blessing from God. And we know Abram is soon to become Abraham. All right, but to see this structure, some great scholars in history have tediously picked all this stuff apart for us. But really, there's a point to this, right? This literary structure reveals this intentional artistry of the author of Genesis. And the various stories of Genesis through the entire book, they're connected through the word for generations. The Hebrew word is toledot. Genesis 2:4 introduces the history of the human family by saying these are the generations of the heavens and of the earth. The same term is used when Noah comes to the scene. This is the book of the generations of Adam. And then again, these are the generations of Noah. So this term generations is used 10 times in the book of Genesis to introduce, it kind of breaks the whole narrative up into these nice chunks for us, to introduce some of the key figures that are playing this starring role in the plot of the book. And so the use of this word, right, it's deliberate by the author. And it's designed to once again show us history from God's perspective. And the focus of that perspective, once again, right, just like the birth of Christ, it's not wars or politics. It's a family. It's about a family. And so the literary structure of Genesis 1 to 11 tells us about God's family, how that family is made, how it strays from his will, how he corrects them, but ultimately how they slowly grow and into righteousness, into understanding God's ways, and into a more full relationship with him. All right. And so over the past 2 lessons, we've looked at the beginnings of the conflict in the human family. And we've seen this conflict between the 2 seeds, right, of the serpent and the woman, between the 2 sons of Adam and Eve, Cain and Abel, and then the lines of righteousness and unrighteous. And so these conflicts, they continue throughout time, right? This should remind us of our world today and our world at every stage of history. But they were summed up beautifully by St. Augustine in his work, The City of God. And in The City of God, we see the conflict between the city of God and the city of man. The city of God is based upon the love of God, even to the point of contempt of oneself, even to the point of contempt of one's own name, one's own glory, one's own renown. The city of man is based on the love of self, even to the point of contempt of God. So when Genesis is read in this light, right, it's very clear that not only is God telling us about the origins of the human family, He's giving us a blueprint for humanity's struggle heading on into the future. And so seeing this helps us see our own struggles today. We're a part of this great struggle of all of human history. So it puts our war that we're at with the culture of death, right, into context. It puts it into context. And really, we can see that the more things change, right, as different as we are today in this nice room with great lighting and PowerPoint, projector, all that great stuff, the more they stay the same. The more things change, the more they stay the same. All right, and that concludes our study for tonight.